Hey guys, how's it going for you guys today? I'm doing alright. It's late in the evening, so the lighting is a little bad, and I apologize for that, but welcome to another anime review. Today we will be discussing Another. It's not a very well-known anime. It's about 12 episodes long, but, you know, it's English, like it's English dubbed, so it's definitely been brought over here, and I will go ahead and start by explaining the basic plot of Another. What is basically going on here is there's a small town in Japan. Um, Class 3 of this school lost a student to an accident. The student was extremely popular and well liked, and it really hurt the class. And this happened probably like 28 years ago. It was quite a while ago that this happened. So instead of them mourning the death, one student was like, "What are you talking about? Insert student's name here isn't dead. They're right there." And, like, pointed to their seat. So like the rest of the class, including the teacher, like they were like, "Yeah, you're right." So they like included the student in everything, and like they pretended basically that the student had not died. And then when it came to their graduation, they all had like a class photo together, and the dead student like showed up in the photo. So like creepy, right? Like once I like heard that, I was hooked on the story. All right. Anyways, ever since that time, every year that Class 3 has had an extra desk and an extra student, and every month until the end of the year, a student would die. And until they figured out the countermeasure to stop that, it just kept happening. What they decided to do, just out of an experiment, was instead of getting rid of the extra desk because it would show up again, they would just pretend like a student didn't exist, like that student didn't exist, like they were dead. And the deaths like immediately stopped. So that's how they would do it as countermeasures. They would just have to pretend like one student didn't exist, like that student couldn't be acknowledged, that student couldn't be graded, couldn't be acknowledged by the teacher, couldn't be acknowledged by the students. They were, invisible, basically. But taking that kind of sacrifice would mean that, your class would live. So there's usually like a student volunteer that would do that. So there's a boy that enters their class not knowing any of these rules, not really knowing the backstory. Both his aunt and his mother were both part of Class 3 in their own generations. Um, but nobody tells him these rules. He enters the class and like starts interacting with the student that's supposed to be invisible. And like I just got done telling you like the rules, but none of this is mentioned. Like the backstory is mentioned, but the rule is not mentioned. Like it's not told to him. Nothing. He starts interacting with them. Um, Students get mad at him, tell him not to interact with something that doesn't exist. Tell him not to disobey the rules, but he doesn't even know what they're talking about. So, you know, I really want to tell you more, like everything, but I don't want to like spoil it because like I could literally give you the entire synopsis of the story, but that would spoil it for you. So, all right, the main female character, the invisible character, is named Mei Miyazaki. All of the characters have traditional Japanese names, but most of their names are pretty forgettable, so I apologize. Like, there's like stereotypes, like there's a really awesome artist boy, and there's a girl who's really nice. I think she's like got like really cute little high cut bangs. There's class representatives. There's like the wild guy, the reserved type of person. Like there's a couple of different stereotypes when it comes to the characters. The main male is Koichi Sakikibara. It's a really hard last name. And he was originally from Tokyo. Like his dad lived in Tokyo. He lived in Tokyo, but his dad had to go like out for business in a different country, so he decided to stay with his grandparents of his mom. His mom passed away giving birth to him, so she's not around, but he is staying with her parents. Um, when he first moves to this area, he's sickly, so he's in the hospital. But his class like representatives do come to see him and stuff. So yeah. He doesn't get to start class until May, but when he's getting ready to leave the hospital, he meets Mei Miyazaki and like finds out that she's in his class and like asks why she's there. She's going to apparently her husband. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Cousin has passed away, so she's like going to give like a thing to like her cousin, like as a goodbye. Um, but that's how he meets her, and then he like tries to interact with her, of course, during class, and you know, apparently that's not acceptable, but nobody tells him, so how's he supposed to know? Like, how's he supposed to know? Alright. Next is art. The art style is beautiful. Like, it's especially beautiful, like, May's mom owns a doll shop. Like, the exquisiteness of how, like, the eyes actually look glass, but they look real. Beautiful. Hair designs, beautiful. Like, the character designs are really beautiful. It's just that the characters themselves are kind of one-dimensional stereotypes. But the art is beautiful. They're like, the colors especially, because like they give like this creepy vibe, but they also give like the like normalness of the classroom, but they, you know, they do really well with the lighting and the colors and making everything appears creepy but then appear normal, like a back and forth thing. So the art is really beautiful. Obviously I'm attracted to anime that has really beautiful art. The plot, which is kind of like the story, but the plot. The backstory, as I've said, is really interesting. That's what attracted me. Like, I had gotten a recommendation from somebody, and I was like, I will watch this, because it's a short anime. Why not? And I loved the backstory. Like, it drew me in immediately. The problem is the execution. Like, the kids never telling him until it was too late. His aunt saying, follow the school rules, follow the school rules. But if you don't know the school rules, how can you follow them? Like, nobody bothers to help him with that. Nobody bothers to tell him the backstory and why he has to ignore this girl. Nobody even tells him that he has to ignore this girl. They just get mad whenever he like pays attention to her, and they tell him eventually not to talk to her, but he doesn't know why. And if you don't know why, you're just gonna think like somebody's bullying her. Like, you can't just tell somebody don't talk to a person and not give him a reason why. Like, if he'd have known it was life or death, I'm sure he would have done something, but he didn't know. Nobody told him. And that's what's frustrating about this. The students react extremely immaturely, and it gets even worse. Like, the last couple of episodes, like I want to tell you, but I don't want to spoil it. But let me just say, like the last episodes, the students go completely insane. Like, it is bad, it is horrible, and just like you might get like close to a student and think they're cool, but then they'll like do something completely stupid. There was only like one student, but he was a sickly student that did like the right thing, but he ended up, you know, paying for it. Like, and that's really sad because he was like one of these really great students, and you thought he was going to go somewhere. Like, you thought he was going to be somebody who's like a main character. He's an asthmatic. No, he's not. He had heart trouble, I think. It was either asthma or heart trouble. I'm sorry that I can't remember exactly. I probably should have rewatched this anime again before I did this review, but I only watched it like a month or two ago, so yeah. Like, he was very redeemable, but like the rest of the class is like frustrating. They really are. So, yeah, it's poorly executed. That's all I can really say. Like, I don't want to go extremely into it, but like, if you come in watching creepy anime, yes, it will be a bit creepy, but you'll also probably end up being extremely frustrated because of the way that the students act. Overall, this is probably going to be my lowest rating on an anime so far. It's going to be a 5 out of a 10. The backstory is great. The two main characters are great. The art is beautiful, but the rest of the characters are pretty one-dimensional. You know, you don't learn a whole lot about them. Like, you learn a little bit about like Koichi's family, and that's really cool, and a little bit about May's family, and that's really cool. But they're connected to like the main story. But you don't like learn a whole lot about the other students or anything. Like, they're pretty one-dimensional, and you don't really understand why they do the things that they do. And then like the story having this really good backstory but being poorly executed again, like, it just detracts from it. Like, I don't know if they meant for to showcase how immature and how stupid the students were. If that was on purpose, like if that was on purpose, then the show is brilliant. But if it wasn't, like if they were literally just they thought that this was going to work and make it creepy with like all the students acting the way they did, Like, that, in my opinion, was poorly executed. But again, I do recommend that you watch the show. It's a short show. The art's really beautiful. The backstory is really cool. So, even if I'm giving it a 5 out of 10, I do recommend that you watch it and that you gain your own opinions and stuff. You don't always have to base everything on my opinion, but give it a watch. Form your own opinions, and if you'd like, you can share your opinions with me. Just be respectful. Like, if you come yelling at me and going, "Oh, you're just so dumb," like, you're just being overly critical, I'm not gonna listen to you. Like, come to me maturely. But that's what I have to say about that show. Like, this is the most I could, like, literally make this review a ranting review, and typically I don't like to do that. Typically I like to introduce you guys to anime that I really like, and, like, recommend it so that you'll watch it. But in this particular case, like, as much as I liked the anime, I also disliked it equally, so I apologize for that, but go give it a watch, and tell me what you think. Alright, well, I'm gonna go, and I hope you guys have a great day. There's a storm brewing, so I was trying to, like, get this done, but not, like, be affected by the storm, so I'm gonna go. Hope you all have a great day, and I will talk to you really soon. Okay. Bye.